So high in the sky it began this morning, and by the time it got here, it was wet. Droplets of something falling from the sky. We haven't seen it for so long that we weren't sure exactly what to call it. I hear, Heather Zehr, that it's called rain.
Right. This is something that seems almost mythical at this point, but yeah, we have managed to pick some of that up this morning, and we have continued to have just little showers and some thunder moving across the area. We've got one over far southeastern Indiana County right now, so yeah, still ongoing in the area right now.
Accuweather's Heather Zehr with us, presented by Marcus and Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com. Heather, I was saying the other day that I don't recall another year where somebody in weather heaven up there is actually turning the page on the calendar, and as they turn, they order up new weather. But it seems like it's actually following the calendar this year. When the calendar changes, so does the weather pattern for the next 30 days or so.
That's kind of an interesting point. I'm just kind of perusing all of the data here that we've had since the spring anyway. And, of course, as we went through the month of May was fairly wet. We had a stretch kind of during the end of the first week, and then again we had a stretch kind of right after the middle of the month where it was a little drier, but otherwise it just kept raining. And that kind of continued on into June, which was still fairly wet. But then we switched into July, and a good part of July was dry. We had a couple of opportunities where there were storms that came through and brought decent amounts of rain, but they were all isolated and compacted into really less than 7 days out of the whole month. And now here at the beginning of August, and even going back to the latter part of July, we haven't had any measurable rain in the county, really, for the most part at all. Certainly not at Stewart Field, anyway.
Yeah, well, at least until today, because we got a pretty good soaker here this morning in our 6 a.m. hour. People want that thing to continue, but I guess it's not going to.
It doesn't look like we're ready to kind of completely turn the page into a little bit of a wetter pattern overall, but I don't think we're just going to write this off as a one-off either. We're looking at thunderstorm opportunities that are going to continue on and off through the rest of today and all the way into this evening, and I think we have a couple of spots that'll get thunderstorms again tomorrow, then a little bit of a break with a high-pressure area that builds in Friday and Saturday, but thunderstorm chances are back again on Sunday. So we're not completely giving up just yet.
When you get weather that is whatever extreme, the wet stuff that we had earlier, the dry stuff that we have now, the heat dome that seems to have been over Indiana County and western Pennsylvania for so long, we generally tend to look for someone to blame. And a lot of times we blame you.
So often, but that's okay. That's okay. We can take it.
We look to our meteorologists and we say, find me something new, Heather. There has to be something new out there. But what you do is you observe and you see what the patterns are, compare them through computer models to what has happened in the past when this has lined up with that, and you come up somehow with the forecast. And it's amazing to me how accurate it really is, because the predictability of weather has always been something that people say is, well, it's not predictable. But actually you're doing pretty well, huh?
Yeah, I mean, really, over the course, I've been at this for quite a while now, more than 30 years. And even just in my time as a meteorologist, I think that we have made leaps and bounds in the accuracy of our forecasts, and not just in the short term. There are some things that we're still going to struggle with that are just on too small of a scale to be able to predict with any kind of great accuracy. We're talking exact locations of small showers and even thunderstorms, and especially things like a tornado. It's very difficult. They're just too small to be able to forecast those accurately from well in advance. But as far as overall patterns go, is it going to be warmer than average? Is it going to be wetter than average? Those kind of patterns, we're gaining a good deal of accuracy and kind of spotting those seasonally at the very least. So when we were forecasting, as I started out, we were lucky to get, a pretty decent average on a 5-day forecast, and we had that same kind of accuracy out to 7, 8, 9, sometimes even 10 days. So it really has been a great increase in accuracy.
So new young meteorologist Heather Zehr walks out of meteorology school 30 years ago, and she's dealing with the technology of the day. Would that Heather Zehr recognize what today's Heather Zehr has as resources to help predict the weather?
No, I don't think even close. I mean, back then we were literally having a state-of-the-art system for a radar where we were picking up a phone and calling somewhere to get this little very pixelated picture on a tiny little screen, and to be able to just pull up a radar for almost anywhere in the world, for certainly everywhere in the U.S. now, and up into Canada and even down into Mexico. I mean, that kind of network, she would never have dreamed of that.
She would have been pretty excited, though, wouldn't she?
Oh, definitely.
So knowing how technology has advanced and allowed you to do things that maybe you never even dreamed of when you were beginning your career, do you get the sense that there are even more changes coming up, that technology is going to advance even more and therefore make your job even more exciting?
I think there are. It seems like there are always studies that are coming out that are finding new little bits of information to help us get a deeper understanding of not just the atmosphere, but the Earth in general, and how the air and the water and all of these systems interact, and what that's going to mean in terms of weather systems and being able to predict them. So I think that with all of these discoveries that are made, we're going to continue to make leaps and bounds. Now, whether we can continue to get the kind of increase in accuracy over the next 30 years that we've gotten in the last 30 years, that may be tougher, because that's a big ask. But, I'm certainly not giving up hope just yet.
There you go. Hey, what has happened here in the month of August and the amount of heat that we've had here in the last couple of months, was that something that you were pretty well sure was going to happen 6 months ago?
Yeah, our long-range team was flagging it as a warmer than normal summer, so that at least they definitely were calling for, and we have seen, as you mentioned, a lot of that just during the month of July. We had temperatures that averaged well above the normal. 4.1 degrees above average is where we were, with the highest temperature of 91. The lowest low was 54, which was certainly a nice little break from the heat, but didn't happen very often.
So where are we going within the next month?
Well, we are still, I think, going to be looking at some warmer than average temperatures on the regular. It's not going to be changing just yet, but perhaps as we head into September, we can see a little bit of a shift to the pattern that might stick. I do think that there is going to be not a great deal of cooling as we go through this week, but there are signs that maybe next week we can at least dial temperatures back a little bit to, or maybe even just a touch below the average levels. I don't know that it's going to stick around, because I do think we get back to warmth again after that.
And now, Heather Zehr, I charge you with telling me, when should I gas up the snowblower?
Well, that's always the trick, isn't it? I would say at this point we would want to stick to a fairly average date of sometime in November for getting any kind of meaningful snowfall.
Okay. Well, there you go. Well, Heather, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. It's been educational.
And always a pleasure.
Heather Zehr from Accuweather with us this morning. Have a great day.
You too.
There you go. It is Indiana in the Morning, and it's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com.